If your favorite team isn't one of the squads still standing in the playoffs, it's never too early to start thinking about next year. And no team's fan base should be more excited about what that future holds than Oklahoma City. Forget making the leap from play-in team to playoff team next year. The Thunder are poised to become genuine contenders in 2024. The Thunder flirted with a .500 record for much of the 2022-23 season, but not all mediocrity is created equal. OKC overperformed against preseason expectations more than any other team. And in contrast to more veteran-laden squads like the Heat and Bulls, the Thunder were the league's second youngest. Spearheading it all was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who went from budding all-star to full-fledged superstar.
I kind of like that kid from OKC. What's his name? The
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
I like that kid,
Me too.
man.
Me too.
He's a sleeper. He ain't no big name kid, but the way he played, he play like Snoop Dogg.
The apparently Snoop-like 24-year-old averaged 31.4 points, 5.5 assists, 4.8 rebounds, 1.6 steals, and a block on 62.6% true shooting. What SGA lacks in consistency from behind the arc, he more than makes up for with his relentless driving, his craftiness getting to the rim, and his ability to flummox helpless defenders who haven't figured out how to defend the herky-jerky guard without fouling him. Gilgeous-Alexander led the league in drives, took 40% of his shots at the rim while converting 64% of those attempts, according to Cleaning the Glass. And he drew fouls better than almost any other high-usage player while shooting better than 90% from the free throw line. He also made major strides on the defensive end, where only 13 other active players have recorded a season with as many steals and blocks as SGA just did. So you can understand why the Canadian is likely to finish top 5 in MVP voting, in addition to being a finalist for Most Improved Player. But the 2022-23 Thunder were so much more than just one player. Jalen Williams, that's ALE, not AYL, earned himself a top 3 finish in Rookie of the Year voting for averaging better than 14 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal, while shooting the ball well, being a sound defender, and generally having a feel for the game that makes him wise beyond his years. Josh Giddey, who's actually a year younger than Williams, stuffed the stat sheet, finishing as OKC's leading rebounder and assist man while finishing second to Gilgeous-Alexander in scoring. Giddey's development was on full display in the Thunder's play-in victory over New Orleans, when the 20-year-old poured in 31 points, 10 assists, and 9 rebounds to send the Pelicans packing. Lou Dort remains the glue guy type who defends like hell and can knock down the occasional 3. Isaiah Joe is exactly the shooter Gilgeous-Alexander and the Thunder needed to help spread the floor and grease the team's offensive wheels. While Kenrich Williams has emerged as a solid playmaking small ball big who shot better than 60% from 2-point range and 37% from deep. There are others too, but 5 of the 6 core players we've already mentioned are all either under contract through 2027 or still on their rookie scale deals. The lone exception is Joe, whose contract may prove to be the NBA's biggest bargain in the coming years. Including a dirt cheap team option for 2024-25, the 23-year-old sharpshooter is set to earn less than $4.2 million combined over the next couple years. Meanwhile, third-year head coach Mark Daigneault appears to be one of the brightest young minds in the game. OKC finished in the middle of the pack on both ends, but the young Thunder were an organized offensive team and a creative defensive one that was missing just one key ingredient: a legitimate rim protector. Well, lucky for Daigneault and the Thunder, the team should get a boost from a special defensive talent in Chet Holmgren. A foot injury sidelined the number 2 overall pick for the entire season, but the 7-footer has arguably more upside than any of the impressive youngsters we've already discussed. The Thunder's breathtaking collection of young talent is reminiscent of the franchise's early years in OKC. Despite complaints about the Thunder's apparent plan to shamelessly tank for years on end, General Manager Sam Presti has assembled this impressive core after only 2 seasons without some form of postseason ball, and without OKC ever even finishing last in the West.
He can't keep getting away with it!
Much of OKC's quietly rapid return to relevance can be traced back to blockbuster trades made with the future in mind. Chief among them, the 2019 deal that netted the team Gilgeous-Alexander saw the Thunder trade Paul George to the Clippers, while also gaining control of 6 extra first-round picks through either outright trades or swap rights. Trading Russell Westbrook for Chris Paul that same summer, and then moving Paul a year later, also helped Presti load up on extra picks. Well, perhaps the future is now. OKC owns up to 12 first-rounders between 2024 and 2027 alone, plus 2025 swap rights with the Rockets and Clippers, which is top 10 protected on Houston's end, but unprotected on LA's end, when George and Kawhi Leonard will be down to only the player options on their contracts. Between all those picks and all the tantalizing young players on good contracts, the value of Oklahoma City's trade capital is immeasurable.
50 times?
More.
100 times?
More.
200 times?
More.
Unlike other teams hoarding future picks in Utah, San Antonio, and Houston, the Thunder are ready to win now, and therefore more liable to use their draft capital sooner. While OKC has more in the treasure chest than other potential win-now trade candidates like New Orleans and New York, the Thunder can still take a patient approach if they want to, perhaps waiting it out another year to see what the team looks like with Holmgren and another lottery pick in the mix. But insert whatever star trade candidate you think might move this summer, and the Thunder have as good a chance of landing him as any rival team, if they want to. Look, I know we're all a little guilty of getting ahead of ourselves when it comes to young teams on the rise. Growth and development aren't always linear, and there are always bumps in the road we can't predict or future injuries we can't account for. But the Thunder have an MVP caliber superstar only approaching his prime, a supporting cast of blue chip prospects who would each be the crown jewels of most other rebuilding teams, a solid young coach, a savvy front office, and the assets necessary to compete for any all-star that hits the trade market. That's not the type of team that should just be thinking playoffs next season. The Thunder should be planning for a deep run, and it could be the first of many.
Thanks for watching. If you liked this video and want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button.